This is the first call of the motherfucking sales mafia. All right, we do high ticket sales. We're a group of killers. We do not play. Okay, if you want to join, it's in the link in the description. And if you're seeing this in the sales mafia, review this. Right? Why did you miss the call? Show up to the next one.
Right.
Yeah,
No reason.
dude, I studied neuroscience and it's like I kind of just graduated from my immigrant parents, to be honest.
I am in that position right now, bro. That is literally the only reason why I'm staying here. If I could fully commit to this, I would, because that's one of the questions I had. Like, how are you able to manage neuro? I have a friend in neuroscience right now. It's not easy.
It's not. I think going to school and like having a 9 to 5 is the same. You just got something on the side.
Yeah.
It's the 9 to 5 matters, but the 5 to 12 matters even more. I'll say this: in college, I had a crazy schedule, so it was like typically I just try to take the easiest classes and try to coast by and graduate. But it was taking classes up to 2 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 10, I would close 8 hours, and then weekends I would also close too. So I was on 3 different offers at one time.
Okay, so
And then when I graduated, I ended up making more than a neurosurgeon per month.
yeah,
So I was like, fuck neuroscience, fuck that. Like, I don't want to do that
Okay.
for sure.
Did you sleep?
Got my good 6 hours. That's all you really need. We're like 20. We're in our 20s. Like, we're not old heads out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with that clutch, yeah. Yeah, no, this is still.
But yeah, let me. Ryan here has a call I wanted to review. He's new to this offer. It's a business coaching offer where it's like, you have a detailing business, you want to scale it. It's a $6,200 offer. Ryan's using the exact framework that is inside the sales mafia, so it might be helpful kind of for us to navigate that as well. So let me share my screen. You guys see this, right?
Yeah, do you guys want me to give like a brief breakdown?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so this is Eric Lang. It's Infinity Marine Services. They're a boat detailing company out in Massachusetts. Was on this call with them for about 55 minutes. A great call. There's a lot of learning material in here from my end as well. I'm excited to get Tim's feedback, but they have about 3 employees, and then they grow to about 8 employees when it gets to the summertime. And they do about 500K a year. And he's really just looking for more back end help when it comes to just some of the stuff that's going to help him save a lot of time. So we'll get into it, and Tim will give me all the constructive criticism I need.
Let's do it.
They were saying it was going to.
Time to work with your schedule and get you hopped on.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a big nor'easter coming in today. They were saying it was going to be 8 to 12 inches, but we haven't gotten anything yet. So
Oh, wow,
we're
really?
just kind of sitting here waiting. But nonetheless,
When I see a motherfucker like this with the house behind him like that, I'm just like, yo, we're getting money. I'm not leaving this call without getting money.
kind of took a day off from doing the actual physical work, so just kind of hanging out in the office, taking care of some things today. Yeah.
Nice, it's good, man. Hey, well, like I said, really happy that you hopped on. I mean, where are you guys actually calling from today? I was taking a look at your Instagram and everything. Are you?
So this is the kind of just building rapport.
Yeah, Gloucester, Massachusetts,
Okay.
basically North Shore. We service, so mainly we do contract work at dealerships and marinas, and that's in Danvers.
Yep.
We got 4 boat yards and dealerships locked into contracts in Danvers, and then so that keeps us. We stay in over there for the spring, but in the summertime we'll go as far as Portland, Maine, and we'll go down to the Cape as well. So we do a little bit of traveling.
Nice, there you go.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah, how many guys you got with you? Is it just you and maybe a couple other guys?
So that stay with me year round. There's 3 guys. In the springtime, we jump up in volume just because everyone wants to get their boats in the water by a certain date, which is usually Memorial Day weekends. So from April until the 4th of July, really, I'll have between 8 and 10 guys going.
Got it. Okay.
So
So do you have any part-time guys that just kind of help you out, or you just?
no, they're all full time. There
Oh,
might be there might be 1 or 2 guys in there that are part time, but for the most part, full time.
So how long you guys been doing this for?
So I like this, like, just kind of asking questions and probing before we set the call. Is that about right, Ryan?
Yeah.
It just sounded like this dude's an action taker, right? So we
Yeah.
kind of want to probe, and if we ask, "Oh, how's the weather? Where you're?" Blah blah blah. It might be a little too draggy, and at the same time, we don't want to set the call right away with people like this because we at least want to build some rapport and be like, "Oh yeah, I should be on this call." Because I don't know, these people are more so in their minds think it's like a 30, 45-minute chat, but looks
Since
like it
2018.
panned
So
out
we're
to
coming up
almost
on
an
our sixth or
hour.
seventh season.
Okay, nice. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I was saying with your website, I was like, man, this is like a very, very unique niche. I haven't seen many people that just kind of like exclusively work with like boats and marinas and things like that. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
like I started on cars like most people do, in like 2012 or so, just working at a car wash. And then I had a customer come in and request his boat. So, I booked it and all that type of stuff. And then the owner of the car wash was like, oh, no, boats are too hard. We can't take that in. And ever since that happened, it kind of got stuck in my mind. I want to work on boats because it's more of a challenge, so to speak, in some ways. And so when I moved to Salem, Massachusetts, which is by the water, and I got a job working on boats. And I just found that I liked that way more than cars. And, did that for a couple of years, built up a good relationship with some marina owners, and then launched Infinity Marine in 2018. And we started with contracts. So the first couple of years, we didn't even do anything direct to customer, just pretty much 100% contract work. And then we've been adding. So started with one contract, we got 4 now. And now we're also doing a bunch of direct to customer too. But we also do ship wrapping in the fall. We do fiberglass repair, bottom painted.
Yeah, I mean, when people ramble, I'd say just let him continue. It sounds like he's actually saying real stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, some of this stuff I would actually keep notes of. But yeah, I would immediately take control if he continues for too long, because in this first 5 minutes, it's so important that you make it absolutely clear that you're the one controlling the call, right? Like you're the authority, right? That's why setting the call is so important. I kind of want, Ryan, you to set in the first, when it hits the 3 to 5 minute mark, like you should have said okay, this call is, designed for us to get to know you, your business, where you want to take it, so we can figure out the best strategy.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we get to that.
But
We can
it'll
do
be
that
right
going
here,
where
I
you
bet.
guys get done on boat. We'll do like teakwear, woodwear,
Yeah, probably
anything
around
like that.
six,
So a
whatever.
little bit of everything.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you guys are actually killing a lot.
Yeah,
of
no, we're doing good. I want, there's definitely next step to it. We do probably like 500 a year, but that's also only for 3 out of 4 quarters. I lay off my guys in the winter, and that goes from basically Christmas until like March 15th is when we do the layoff. So I still stay busy, and I have like winter projects that I work on and whatnot. But
Yeah.
most of our revenue is in the springtime is crazy. We'll do probably we'll average from mid-April until the 4th of July. We'll probably do like 30-40 grand a week.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just in detailing. But it tapers off relatively quickly once people, because like, we do all the boats are next to each other, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just
That's pretty good.
Okay, so when people come to us and they already have businesses that are, he's like, oh, we do 30 to 45K a week. That means he has money, especially for a $6,200 offer.
Yeah.
So, of course, the fact finding, exploration, what's their pain point, goal, like that is really important to do. But with these people, you need to be so careful about how you pitch. Right now, we really, really want to understand where their business is, because if we pitch something, it could be the same product. If we pitch it in a way where it's like, just general, like you get this, they'll be like, okay, where's the value for me, right? So from what I understand, the first 5 minutes, we really, really need to sell them on the fact that we can grow this bigger, that we have specific expertise in boat detailing as well, right? Not only are we mobile, but we also have systems, contracts, dealership stuff. Because there's no point in telling him all these like small preliminary things when he's already doing what, maybe over 6 figures. He's have million a year business.
In one location, so it's really kind of, it's not. I mean, it is possible, but it's hard for me to envision a way to keep that volume going when the boats start to spread out and you got to do more traveling.
Yeah. So, obviously, I got your guys' application. I think there's a lot of good things on here that we kind of looked at where I think we can provide a lot of value. I want to learn a little bit more about how we can help, but obviously, I just want to kind of make sure that we can understand, this is one of those like decision-making calls. So at the very end of this, you just kind of give us like a yes or no, and just ensure that you guys are a good fit, and also that we're a good fit for you. Is that going to work for you today? Okay, awesome. Now, so when I was looking at your application, you kind of mentioned that you wanted to get into exterior detail.
Okay, I actually think that we actually need to revisit this. Where's this sales framework? Sales framework. Because, okay, you went through this, but not this. All right, you went, I have application here. It seems like blah, 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 blah. These are decision-making calls. Is that cool? And he's like, yeah. And then you continued. Like, we really, really want to, like, Ryan, I know that I've told you this before, but we really want to place an emphasis. I'd say don't even let him give you all this information about his business yet, right? Like, when he said this preliminary thing, and be like, okay, cool. I mean, I'd love to learn more about that. But, yeah, the purpose of this call is to figure out, and then you just go directly into this and make it so clear that we hit all of this.
Right.
Right? So I've said this 1,000, probably tens of thousands of times, but it goes like, I mean, yeah, the purpose of this call is to get to know you, figure out what you're doing with the business, what you're trying to accomplish, and so we can figure out the best strategy moving forward. But most importantly, Eric, figure out if this is going to be a good fit between you and Alan. Does that make sense? And we want a yes answer. And then we say this again. Okay, I mean, these are decision-making calls. I'll definitely let you know what Alan has to offer so you can make an educated decision. But it's just a yes or no, nothing crazy. Is that fine? Yes. And then I would go.
Right.
Because maybe, I don't know what objections you dealt with at the end, but if it was a time thing, decision-making thing, I need to think about it thing, like this is where we resolve it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, obviously, you'll get to that at the very end. But you'll see, like, you know, this next question I ask is I simply just like be blunt and I say, I mean, how can we help? You know,
Yeah,
because I want
that's
to
it,
figure
yeah.
out what exactly this guy needs or what he wants because he's clearly doing well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go ahead and play. I mean, let me just ask the broad question: how can we help? I mean, where do you want to see us come in and help you out?
Yep. So it's kind of like a feel out thing, learn a little bit more
And then
about what you
random
guys
again.
offer, but at the same time, my next step is to get a location, and which hopefully I can lock in the next year or so. And I want to get into doing exterior cars, detailing cars as well. And I think the biggest thing for us is so I can take on more boat detailing work, but I think maybe, I mean, I'm sure you guys
So
can
the
help maybe
pitch
with
is-
streamline and training processes for maybe cleaning up some back end systems or more or less create better back end systems so that my time is
Okay.
on a 30 footer, which is
Alan and our team can help you kind of build the back end foundation and make sure that once you get that shop, you have the training methods.
So, Ryan, I have a problem with your timelines here, right? Because you set the call around here, you explored up to here, and then pitched for 30 minutes. Is that about right?
About right. Yeah, he would interject in
Okay.
the middle of some of the pitches just to kind of like be like so expand on that. Like let's talk about that.
Yeah. So,
that was actually pretty good because I was able to, you know, discover some pain points, especially because like when you're on Zoom, you can like read his like nonverbals and his body language on like when he's like shaking his head, and I'll kind of stop, be like, is that something you guys like are looking for? See value in, blah blah blah, and then he'll be like, yeah, and then you know once we get to about the 35-40 minute mark, I end up stopping the stopping the sales pitch, right, and then I get into, I mean, do you have any other questions aside from like, you know, price and like any other questions?
Yeah,
that maybe
okay.
Provide some
Okay.
value. Yeah.
I
You don't-
want to remind you this again, right? It's like we want to spend these aren't here as just like random, like definitely 2 to 4 minutes here, like quick intel, just like build rapport. This should be 1 minute, and then the exploration should be 20-25 minutes. I know sometimes I also have the habit of cutting this short, but it's so crucial. Like they're gonna interject you while you're pitching when you don't do all of this correctly, right? So it's like, so for example, I'll be like, okay, how many boats do you have? How many guys do you have out there? What's the main issue you're dealing with? Like, I don't think that, like, this should take a long time. Understanding where they want to be should take 5 to 10 minutes. Having them commit isn't something that the commitment should be what's up front, right?
You have the brick and mortar understanding from maybe Google, Facebook, Instagram, making sure that all those are like collaborating within your specific maybe address that you're looking at, so that, sure that everything's just kind of in place.
Okay.
And then
pretty much.
and then I'm imagining maybe some just external training stuff, and then I mean, does that sound pretty accurate? Like,
Yeah, pretty accurate. Those are the main things that I'm focusing on developing this winter because this is, we're still busy, but this is my slower time, so this is when I try and spread out feelers and get ideas and try and collaborate with people as to how I can better do things. So yeah, those are basically the points that I'm trying to focus on.
Okay, yeah, cool. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna share my screen here because I want to show you everything that this is, and I also want to show you like.
Okay, so we need so it sounds like you understand a lot about where they're at in the business, but we have no idea where they want to take it, right? Do they want a license? Do they want a franchise? Do they want to sell it in the future? Do they want to go more into detailing? Do they want to go more into ceramics? Do they want to go into a new city? What do they want to do? Where do they want to be 6 months from now in terms of revenue? What's the number? Where do they want to be in a year, in 10 years? Right? Those are all things that are missing. Like we don't know, so we can't, at the end, you can't even say, yeah, and to get you to 135,000 a month, and then XYZ, it'll be 6,200. Right? We need to collect all this info. And then 100%, do not forget this section, and I want all of you guys never to underestimate committing, especially through consequence and urgency. So I know sometimes with these guys, it's like if you ask, what if nothing changes about your situation and you're still in 75K a month land? How would you feel then? And they're just like, in their head, they're just like, what kind of bullshit question is this? Right? Like, how do you feel? How do you, like, no, like, a lot of these business owners don't like to be asked this question. So more of the times, I'll sometimes rephrase it as like, yeah, I mean, if you're still stuck in this position, like, you know, how is this something that you want to solve? How would you, you know, overcome this obstacle, right? And then especially, why make a change now instead of 6 months? I like asking the question, oh yeah, so how did you find Alan, by the way? Right? Alan's the coach. And they'll be like, oh, I found him through Instagram ad. I found him through YouTube. Whatever they say. It's just like, okay, cool. Well, I guess what got you to reach out now? Like, why is this a now thing? Why do you keep trying? Right? So they tell us why it's a now thing for them. Because after the price drop, they can't give us the objection, oh, I'll do this next month. I need to think about it. I'll do it like later this year. Right? Because they said it themselves. And if they do give you that objection, you can remind them. Didn't you just tell me that you needed to change now?
But let me ask you this question. So, like, what happens when a prospect, like, when they hop on the meeting and they're kind of like more like, really, you know, why'd you take the call? Like, how can we help? And they say something along the lines of, well, really, we're just trying to explore. We're in an exploration process. We're looking at all of our options, blah, blah, blah.
I'd just be like, yeah, let's explore. Let me just ask you some questions about your business and see if we could even help.
Yeah.
And then just dive into it like they're in the buying mentality. Like, a lot of my closes, like 20-30% of the closes come from people who are just checking things out. Or like, yeah, I've booked a couple calls with mentors, coaches. I want to see what's good. Because if they see an offer that's there, like, I could even play off urgency at the end, be like, yeah, it's usually 8K. We really want to make this work, you know, have you join us. So, you know, we could just run our New Year's offer for you. It's just $6,200 if you join today. Is that cool? A little more urgency. But yeah, right before you pitch, make sure definitely have them commit. Like, I promise you, it might seem like, oh, I did everything right. Why didn't this close? Well, none of this was pre-handled, right? Like, we definitely also need to be like, say, cool, it sounds like you're ready to make a change, right? How I do it is you got to label the prospect. And what I mean by labeling the prospect is you got to say, okay, cool. So it sounds like, you know, you've been building this for like around a decade and, you know, everything's going well. You're doing XYZ in the boat business, but you kind of hit a barrier of that 6-figure a month mark. And, you know, you just need the operating procedures and you need kind of the XYZ to help you get to the next level. Does that sound about right? And they're like, yes. And then I'll always say this before I pitch and share my screen. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm definitely confident that Alan can help. You are 100% a fit for what we do. Now let's kind of see if we're a fit for you. And then I'll share my screen. Right? That's the line that I always use. Right?
In your window of the sharing your screen, that timetable is between like 10 and 20 minutes, maybe less, maybe more.
Yeah. I flipped through it very quickly. Let me see if I could. I'm gonna show you guys this offer because this is gonna be an offer that. Where is this? Okay. So Ryan, for this offer, it'd be like, I'd always split it into support and education, and then make sure it's like, okay, we tackle the support side of things, and then you dive into the phases. But I actually don't want you to worry too much about the pitch part because we need to get all of this stuff right. I'd say for you gaining intel or just breaking the ice, you did a little, you know, you had it open a little too much. For the setting, we gotta definitely improve that. And if this isn't somewhere on your computer, like maybe have it on paper, but this is definitely something that we need to implement ASAP.
Sure.
Like this is a little bit extra. I don't really do this much anymore. And then I like the open-ended question. But again, we really, really want to understand what's the pain, what's the issue. And we want more than one issue. And we want to ask why. Why are you dealing with this issue? What have you done to try to solve it? Why has it not worked?
Mm-hmm.
Because on this call, we need people to have this like light bulb moment, like, damn, I blah 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 blah, but this guy can help, right? We need to remind them how much stuff they're still dealing with and they don't know. So then they're in a place of like, oh shoot, like I need to get something to help me figure this out, right? And then the dream, I don't think that was even there. 100% this needs to be there. Like, where do you want to be in 6 months? Give me a number.
Yeah.
Right? I don't typically do this anymore, but always this. Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be long term? Do you want to franchise, license, or sell the business? And to be honest, guys, most of the times these businesses are nowhere near the point of selling, franchising, or licensing. But you put this in their mind, it's like, damn, I have so many problems while I'm so small and my dreams are so big. I need someone to bridge this gap. And the wider the bridge, the more valuable you are as the bridge. Right? Because right now the bridge is tiny, Ryan. It's like, it's maybe not even a bridge. Make sense?
Yeah. What's your talk track when somebody says something like, well, I want to be here in 6 months, and then you kind of are along the lines just like, yeah, I mean, we want to help you get there. What are like some of the big things that you say that like guarantee them to get there, you know?
Okay, let's role play it. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Ryan, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you said you're doing around 5K-ish a month. Our program is 6 months. I'm curious, like, where do you want to be in 6 months? Like, from a numbers standpoint. So, like, you know, we can track and move backwards from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, my goal too is, you know, I want to hire a couple guys so that I can increase the quantity of the details. I feel like my problem is that I don't have enough guys to maintain the level of calls that I'm getting. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can hire the right material and hire the right different types of people. That way I can increase my revenue from say 5 to, 20, 25K.
So you want to hit 20 to 25K a month in 6 months?
Which if I get a couple guys and it's just me and my buddy right now, and if I add 2, 4, 6 people, I see double as a minimum, you know?
Yeah. I'm more than confident we can take you to that 20 to 25K a month mark. We've done this like hundreds of times with other businesses. And yes, like you do need a bigger team to hit this number, right? And I'll show you in a bit, but we do have hiring, onboarding, training systems. But what I want you to worry about first is just getting a lot of leads and customers, right? Because it's the chicken and egg. Which one comes first? Do I get more customers or do I get more team members and equipment and this and that, right? And not having enough customers is such a bad problem compared to not having enough guys because you got too much business, right? So great. I think 20 to 25K is a great goal in 6 months. Where do you see this like down the line, man? Is this something you want to license, franchise, sell? Like,
well, not really franchise. I think I just want to be completely out of the field. So I want to get to a point to where I have 8 or 10 consistent guys getting consistent work to where, we get to those 50 to 100K months to where I'm more of just the consultant. I'm just the person that's directing people to go where they need to go. And then I'm the salesperson to help get my guys jobs at say dealerships, auctions, mom and pop shops, or whatever I need to go. That's where I see the most value.
okay. I mean, that's what we do, right? We're trying to pull you away from kind of being self-employed, still touching the cars, still detailing, and moving into space where you're just managing. You just got a team and they're doing everything. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Cool. So that's how I would approach it, by the way. Is that clear with everyone in here? Does anyone have any questions so far?
Wait, did this guy close or no?
I don't think this guy closed. We're gonna let's continue watching this.
The mass.
Okay.
You say, hey, I'm actually working with these 3 guys. I can put in a good word, like the owner might want to have a conversation with you.
Go about, getting more contracts is through.
Application.
I'm working on it. It's more or less just finding something to be able to, in a good location that, fits my needs. Because it's like it's hard because if you want to get like a single bay, you're looking at like 500 grand, and a single bay isn't going to be enough. I need kind of like
The thing, this reminds me, guys, when you are, because this is training, I want you guys to know this, like, because some of you also haven't taken calls before. Take call and be like, damn, that was like, pitching took me forever. Objections took me forever, right? It's because we didn't do all the heavy work in the beginning. Like, I promise you, you do this, even though it's like kind of annoying to do this all the time on repeat, it's so necessary to do all the stuff before the pitch. So then the pitch and sales objection becomes light work, right? I'd rather have an easy pitch and easy objections and really focus and dial in on expiration than the other way around. Because it sounds like this guy isn't in buying mentality. Like, he should be sold at this point. He should basically just be like, tell me the price so I can see if I want this, right?
Standalone, because we also do fiberglass repair. So I had a shop a couple years ago, and we use stinky materials, and it can smell, and people complain. To have already in place. That way, once we get that and start really scaling, all that's in place, and it's not, a massive stress.
Yeah,
So-
you got it. You're definitely hitting on it. Now, outside of kind of what I showed you, because I briefly browsed through some of it. I mean, some of it's relevant, some of it's like things you'll just kind of click on and go, oh, it's great. Talk a little bit about pricing, unless you have other questions I can maybe get into for you.
No, you can dive right into it.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I saw from your application, we're pretty close on your 2 to 4K that you submitted on here. The end all be all goal, or not goal, but the price is a one-time payment, and it's under 6,000, and it's 5,900. Okay. Once you make that payment, you get full accessibility to everything. You get the one-on-one coaching. Like I said, from a perspective of where you're trying to go, we always like to say it takes about 3 to 6 months for us to fully integrate you and fully get you up and rolling. So if you are doing your location here and you're trying to get that location going, you might want to have this in place like as soon as possible. That way you can get to where you want to go for March, April, May, June.
Right, the transition is smoother because the systems are already implemented. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So let's see here. So I think the biggest value you guys can add is the back ends and maybe a little bit more perspective in terms of the auto portion of things. Because that's, we specialize with the boats and we got good systems and processes for that. But I think where you guys can add the most value is some of the contractual stuff, the back end stuff, and then specialize in the knowledge of auto detailing. I think from what I'm getting together is where I see the most value.
Sure. And keep in mind with that too, like the consulting piece is huge. Like just having those discussions with Alan, Nico.
So actually, Ryan, this I know you're transitioning from like a longer sales cycle in sales to high ticket sales. I promise you, like, you sound like so many, like, just use the framework of when you do the price drop, all you want to talk about is the price, right?
Yeah.
He's circling around it and you are too. And we can't have you doing that. Like, we need you dialed in on this is the price, you should buy it.
Well, this is why I chose this call out of all the other ones, because it was damn near an hour and I felt like I had good buying, and then you'll get to like the 52-minute mark and like we were trying to figure out like what payment plan, what we were going to do, and then ended up going all the way down to the GDA education on this one.
Wow.
And then he said yes, and then I put the invoice in the chat because he like gave me a confirmation like yes, and then once I like put it in the chat for him, he like stopped me and goes, yeah, so like I really appreciate your time. I just need 24 hours to
Yeah,
think about
he just didn't want it. He didn't want it. Damn, this could have been a close.
It was a really frustrating call.
This
And
could
I
have
was
been a
just like,
close.
Yeah.
I'd say this: every time you do a price drop, do it the same way. So after you pitch, this is how I would do: pitch, and I'll be like, "Cool. So, Eric, is this something that you see would be valuable to you?"
Yeah.
And then we want them to say, "Yeah, blah blah blah, the XYZ, XYZ." And if they say it like a tiny sentence, just be like, "Okay, cool. What do you think would help most?" Right? Because we want them actually to say something, and then then I'll do the price drop and be like, okay, cool. So, access to Alan, our team, all the legal stuff I showed you, the marketing stuff, all the back-end stuff that you really enjoy and got value of. Whatever he said that was valuable to him, just say that. And it's all just 6,200. How does that sound?
Yeah, I should have just shut my mouth.
Yeah, how does that sound?
I rambled too much, man. Like, it was pretty frustrating walking off that one, but we'll see.
I know that you could have closed them too.
Oh, 100%, dude. This is probably the most frustrating call I've had, because you don't spend that much time on with somebody and then have them, give you good buying, and then at the very end they just kind of
Exactly.
fizzle away.
So
And
it's
they tell
it's
me-
the circling around part that you just lost him, right?
right.
Because guys, all of this shit is just to prime the prospect.
Yeah.
Like all of this prime the prospect, and then when we get to the pitch, it's so this that is just 6,200. How does that sound? And then we want them to be. He didn't say anything about how did that sound, right? We're not talking about price at all.
So like, let me ask you this. So in this, he goes, "Yeah, I just need like 24 hours to think about it." You know, my
That's a
opinion-
lie. He's just not
not
gonna
a
buy.
lie.
It doesn't matter that he said that.
Right.
He's just it's
Yeah.
a smokescreen, right?
And then at the very end, he said, like, when I stepped away from him, he was just like, "Yeah, I gotta talk to my business partner." I was like, "You told me you're the sole owner."
Exactly. He's just trying to hop off, right? He's just trying to hop off.
Yeah, man. I was just like, "Wow."
He just doesn't want to buy anymore, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
This.
that, whoever it is on the back end, I mean, those are people that you're going to want to utilize the resources on the Slack as well. So that consulting piece is a massive value as well. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking here.
Okay. Alrighty. So can I get back in like a day? Or I know you said it was a yes or no at the end. And so I'm kind of like teetering
Yeah.
with a maybe right now.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: is it
So a strategy when people are at the maybe, I'll just go like this, right? I'll be like, well, I mean, if you're on the fence, let me just tell you exactly how it would work. So you can be confident in exactly what it looks like to get started with us, right? So we start future pacing if they're on the fence. It's like, yeah, so I'll send you an invoice, you'll get that paid. Once we do that, I'll immediately book you a call with Nico. He's our success manager. He will give you access to the Notion I shared you, the Slack, the Zoom, get you set up, everything, right? And immediately after that, we'll book a time to talk with Alan, and he will one-on-one with you. He'll audit your business. So we kind of request that you bring all the numbers, anything you run in ads, like everything you have, so he can be updated on exactly where you are in the business. I took notes that I'll send to him as well. But yeah, on that call, he'll also do market research, kind of understand your city, but also create a success timeline for you, right? So it's like, what do we have to do tomorrow, next week, month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we can get to the point of whatever number he said, 250,000 a month, right? So you want to get started? Is it cool? Does it work with you?
Right.
I always put the 2 thumbs up. I'm always like, is that cool? Should we get started?
Yeah.
Like sometimes we need to be the one that makes the push, right? It's like sometimes when people need it, it's like, yo, sometimes if you dangle like a 100,000 worth of gold in front of someone and they're like, I don't want it. Like as much as it's gold, so, like they still can't see it sometimes. So we need to make the push, right?
Right.
And
the push here is like the guy clearly has money, he's clearly on the fence. So if you were to click play here, the one thing I ask is like, aside from price, like, is there anything that's like causing you to, not do this? And then I start, rambling and get into split pay. And then I almost had that one little thumbs up with you. Like, hey, is the $1,200 offer going to work today? Because, at the end of the day, I mean, you say you see a lot of value in the back end stuff and like all the documents and stuff that will help you save some time. Maybe we can start there. And then once you get to where, you feel comfortable with some of the other spots, maybe we can do that.
I think it's because he thought you sounded desperate, to be honest, and he was just like,
probably towards the end, yeah.
Because it's like, how do you go from 5,900 to split pay to 1,200 to, right? And with the person that
interjections in between, like, because I was hearing him out, like, just trying to make sure that he understands, like, we want to work on his time, his financials, and make sure it works best for him. Like, I wasn't just like dropping, but
yeah,
once within a 10-minute window when you're doing that, it does sound in desperation time. So, I mean, I would definitely, everybody in here just like take this call as, like a learning experience for me, just like understanding that, what we're pitching is so valuable to where you almost want to have no hurdles towards the end. And towards the end, I feel like I was jumping every hurdle. You don't want to get to that. So I guess me abandoning the framework on the dream spot, that's what killed us. So listen to Tim.
Does anyone have any comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, anything?
I'd love feedback. So if you guys got anything, go ahead, give it to me. That's why we're on here. We're here to work together here.
Facts.
Just a question about you personally. What are you transitioning from? Because I know you mentioned
Yeah,
that
so
you were doing.
I actually just quit my corporate job on Friday, right? So I used to do PEO sales. So it was, I would try and transition businesses from payroll, workers' comp, unemployment, HR, and benefits. And the sales cycle is between 3 and 6 months. So I'm going from a 3 and 6 month sales cycle with a pretty high base salary to doing something where, you know, you're basically trying to get people right off the rip. So it's a big transition for me, but at the end of the day, I'm taking a massive risk on my life and I can't wait. And I empower everybody to say.
Facts. Because the math works out. Like I swear, you've already taken a good amount of calls, Ryan. Like, you know, if you truly had these 8 calls and people showed up to 8, and you get to the level of literally executing everything we kind of went over, you will be able to close 2 a day. Like, I promise you.
Sure.
I was closing around 4 out of 8 calls a day. And that's why I was like, yo, Alan, you better up my commission or else I'm going to leave. Right? You get leverage, right? Because you're nice. And coaches, when coaches know that they have a good closer, they'll do everything to keep you. But you need to get to that point first, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing to focus on. It's a 1 call close. I want you to have the mentality instead of like, yo, I'm coming from a 3 to 6 month cycle to a 1 hour sales cycle. It's to be like, yo, I mean, these people have followed Alan on Instagram. I've seen a bunch of his YouTube videos. I've seen his client success testimonials, seen content. Maybe they're in his free Discord. They've gotten his free book. I mean, these people are pretty warm. They're pretty hot. They're kind of just diving in to be like, yo, what's exactly offered and how much it is and does it work for me? And people buy, right? People buy. Any other questions, thoughts?
Nobody has that. I do. How did you go about finding those offers where, because I'm assuming everybody you guys are talking to are really warm already, just from based off the content and everything. There's a massive difference between just like outbound, obviously the cold people, than inbound.
Yeah.
But I also realized that if you're gonna want to get these kind of jobs, nobody's gonna give you the warm leads off rip, because how are they might have spent money on it if it's not organic to begin with, and so there needs to be a trust there.
So
But
imagine each call is literally potentially worth $6,000, right?
that's what I'm saying.
So if a coach gives it to you, it's like they're potentially throwing away $6,000. So what I always tell guys is just role play. If you don't have any existing sales calls with guys of like you trying to close them on something, right? You don't even need to share your screen for that. Just talk, and you have like 20 of those. Send that to a coach and be like, "Yo, this is my closing style. Check some of this out. Love to talk." Like I have in the course section of Sales Mafia, you can see I go much more in depth with that. But
Yeah, I saw that.
don't be a setter. Don't be a cold caller, because setters never graduate to closers, and cold callers rarely graduate to closers, right? You just got to be this person. It's kind of like I have a line cook and a janitor and then the chef. Someone be like, yeah, I'm gonna start as the janitor and then get to the line cook and then get to the chef, right?
Okay, that's
It's like, nah, it doesn't really work that way. Like you're a janitor, you're the janitor. If you're a line cook, you might be able to be a chef.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm assuming either you have to have a really good relationship with the coach themselves to move you up or some shit like that. But
No, dude, there's
Otherwise-
so many coaches out there who need a closer. Like you reach out to enough people, they'll give you a shot even though you're new, just because they're just too busy to take them. And if they're a bit confident in your sales philosophy, like they will give you a shot. They will. But I'll say this, like just start with finding offers. You'll see there's a method, but that are like $2,000, $3,000. You won't make a lot of money in commission, but at least you have the opportunity to have proof that you can close calls, and then you can graduate and be
XP
like,
matters a lot.
yeah,
so,
it does. It
yeah.
does. It does.
Because it's so easy to waste time. Because I'm in a setting position right now for a fitness influencer, and it's outbound DMs. Bro, I'm on this shit for like 6-7 hours a day, and the qualifications with finances as well. and it scares people off because he doesn't want to waste his time.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I haven't made fuck all yet
Yeah.
because of this.
Yeah.
So I need to find something good. So I'll put myself out there. All right. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And also, it's like just talking to you really quickly. Like, sounds you know what you're doing, sounds sharp. I'm sure you'll be able to find a better shot than just appointment setting. Like, dude, people are like these random girls in the Philippines are getting $3 an hour setting, and they could do exactly what you do, right? It's a low leverage skill, right? We don't want to be doing that.
Exactly.
But these Filipino ladies cannot be closing. Like they cannot. But yeah, while we
born
got
in America for a reason, brother. Like this
Facts.
accent means something.
Facts. Well, this is a little close from yesterday. I want to show you guys how everything before the pitch, how it should be done. Ryan, this would be helpful to you. I got a meeting at 2, so I want to get this in.
I think right now in outside full time.
Okay.
I'm pretty much booked all the time at home. So.
Busy right now. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, me and Alan actually live in Miami, even though our main business is in Portland. Like we're flying cross country all the time. So
Building rapport.
maybe that's a testament that we've automated a $1.6 million business. Pretty cool. But yeah, this call is better to get to know you better in your business, see what you're doing and where you want to go, so we can figure out the best strategy, and also kind of see if it's going to be a good fit working with Alan. Okay.
Absolutely, of course.
Cool.
Absolutely, of course, cool. Awesome.
And these are decision-making calls, so I'll let you know everything Alan has to offer, so you can make an educated decision. But it's just a yes or no, nothing crazy. Okay. Awesome. So I'm curious. If I could just ask just some technical questions. How long have you been in business?
So I just moved from Vegas to Orlando. So I started the company about 6 months ago. We've been like 6 months ago. Like I said, I usually do about 2 times per week. So if you really make the math, that's about 2, 4, 6, 8 days I really working for the business. I happen to manage at least 2 jobs per day. So that should be like 4 a week.
So you're not going to these shops though, right? Like you got somebody going out and cleaning for you?
No. So I'm the main guy for everything.
Okay. You're just solo right now?
Yeah, I mean, I have somebody that's usually if I have a really like the world service, like
Yeah.
ceramic cleaning and stuff like that. But mainly I try to do it myself. When I do have like 3 hours a day, then I usually call that one person. But yeah, it's mainly just me. Depending on the job, I call somebody.
I see. Okay. Well, what services do you guys provide? Is it just like PBF tint ceramic? Like what do you guys do?
So at the moment, it's just been mainly detailing.
Just detailing?
Yes, I have 3 main packets. We have an express. That one's usually for an sedan. That's like $200.
Okay.
So yeah.
So if it gives you any insight on what we do, I go detail. Let me show you something. Maybe this will make it easier. Yeah, let me show you something pretty cool.
So while I'm asking him, I've been doing this too.
Where's this right here? So last year, August, we typically do like 95 to 105K a month. We had a biggest month this summer. And if it gives you insight, 40% of this number came from ceramic coating. So it will help to offer that to your existing customers and the new ones as well. So cool.
I actually think that's kind of like where my strategy is kind of changing too. I mean, usually because when you do like you guys have like a good ceramic roll job, the detail basically already included. So in my head, I'm like trying to focus on those higher price services.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. Like yesterday, I just had one. I rented a little shop for it. I think I made about $1,200.
Okay.
So that was literally a good ceramic. It wasn't just a detail, you know?
Yeah. That is the idea. I mean, it's for us. It's like when we're running ads. Why would we spend $10 on an ad to advertise a $300 detail when we can use that same money and advertise for like a $1,500 ceramic?
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. 6 months, low doing this. What's the estimated revenue that's happening per month right now? Like the most recent 2 months.
So all of this is just gathering intelligence where he's at right now. What do you offer? What do you do? How much do you make?
Like ballpark.
So I would say, like I said, it's considering 2 days a week, 2 days a week, so like 8 days a month.
Yeah.
I would say about 4,000 to 6,000,
So around the 5K mark. Okay, that's a good start.
and that's me comfortably. I mean, I got 2 kids, I have a full-time job somewhere else.
Okay, sure.
Literally a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically 40 hours a week. You know, I work. I'm out there working, make some paper, you talk to clients. And we started with a little van, little bucket, but now I put almost like 25K in business. I got a trailer now, LLC all the way through. So
Cool.
it's growing a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like you set everything up, dabbled into this, and you got a taste of the money, and now like, hey, you want to take it seriously, like build out the infrastructure and do it the right way, right?
Exactly.
Wait, Ryan, you should say this often. Here, I'm gonna slow it down.
Dabbled into this, and
See all the way through. So
cool.
it's growing a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like set everything up, dabbled into this, and you got a taste of the money, and now like, hey, you want to take it seriously, like build out the infrastructure and do it the right way, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if Alan was on this call, like, what'd be your first question? Like, what's the main thing he could help right now? What's the main issue?
You see? So it's more like labeling him as you got money, you figured out something, but you want to take it seriously now. And then we dive into the issues. So if Alan was on this call, like if the coach was on this call, what would you ask first? Right? Like what's the main issue? And then he explains his issue.
That's when things explode.
And then we dive in, and then you see how,
You just had a hat there.
huh?
Were you wearing a hat at the beginning of that?
Oh, yeah, I put on a hat in the middle of the call.
I was like, whoa, wait a second.
quick decisions, but
But
like, I got on the
but
phone call
had
too.
to.
For marketing and purposes like that, it's gonna help.
I had to match his vibe. I saw he had a hat too,
Probably
right?
get some leads for sure.
Okay.
And that's kind of like where I'm kind of like curious to go with, because I want to expand. I want to obviously generate more. So
You see what he's saying? I want to expand. I want to generate more, right? Because after that, I asked him, right, understanding his pain, then having that goal, and something emotionally is happening inside of him where he's like, nah, I gotta buy some. I have such a big problem. I want to get to such a big goal. Like I need a bridge. I need help. You get me, Ryan? So the kind of timeline for me was 20 minutes of exploration, 10 minutes of pitch, 15 minutes of close. That's if that sounds about right.
Yeah.
If that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we just need to work on everything before the pitch and making sure that the pitch is quick, succinct, short. I'll upload another one of those review sales calls in the school, but Ryan, I'd love to have you review those again, because I don't think you're following that exactly, to be honest.
Okay.
I promise you, it's the Krabby Patty formula of high ticket sales. But yeah, any of you guys got any questions at all about anything? That was a quick review.
Just wanted to drop in real quick and say how's everything going, man. I definitely appreciate all the training and stuff that you've got going on for us. I came in here a little bit late. I work during these hours, but just wanted to drop in real quick.
No worries. I appreciate you making it, man. I'm probably gonna make Tuesdays at 1 or 4. We'll see. But then definitely Thursdays at 7 p.m. EST, because a lot of the guys seem like it worked for them there. But I'll say this. In terms of all this high ticket sales stuff, I've bought other people's courses that are like 3K, 6K, $997 offer. It's all right. I mean, everything you need to know is in those courses as well. I've reviewed everyone's stuff, read Jeremy Lee Minor stuff, Jordan Belfort stuff, Tony Robbins stuff, Charlie Morgan, Serge Guattari, Luke Alex, all of it. There's nothing crazy you need to know except that one framework. You master that framework, you master high ticket sales. And I understand sometimes it might look like, damn, that question is forceful. Oh, that's sure. I mean, it's weird. But if you understand exactly why we're asking the question, you will make the sales. And then not only why we ask the questions, but being sure that when you ask it, they actually answer it, right? So if you ask a question and they don't answer it, we can ask it in another way because we understand why we're asking the question. We understand why that's slotted inside the framework. And that's what you want to practice on role plays. So, I mean, next week I might double the amount of calls that I hop on. I would go live, but definitely one of them, I want to review one of y'all's role plays and see how we can break that down, because if you have 10 of those and they're really nice, they're perfectly to the structure, you are now ready to reach out to coaches and start selling for them, right? Right now, your competition is just spamming, hey, I'm a closer, do you have a job? That's your competition right now. And then on the other end, there's guys who've been closing for over 4 years, have hundreds of sales calls in in their library. So we need to start somewhere. Any questions at all, guys?
About the role plays.
Yeah.
When we do them, are we just going through it just so I do it right and so I can actually get the reps under my belt?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to make sure that we do the whole call through the full script and then have one objection per role play that we just go through? Because I'm assuming that there's 6 main objections. If I can get like all 6 of them pretty much dialed in, have that as links, then I'm pretty much set. But if you think otherwise, let me know.
Yeah, I would do this. I would just try to be the worst prospect ever. If you were on the other side of the role play, just being like giving them every objection. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Because that's where you get the real reps in, where you're like, I don't know if I want it. I'll talk to my wife. I gotta think about it. Oh, it's a little bit expensive. I'll think about it. Oh, I need to spend 24 hours on it. Just every objection. And the more you kind of hear them and even say them, be on the opposite end, you understand exactly how it works. Because like right now, for some of you reviewing that call, it might be like, oh shit, like here and there, like it's like pieces. It's difficult to like identify each portion of the framework. But the more you do it yourself, it'll be so clear when there's like just a Michelin close. Like you'll know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have one question, because I did do some role plays with some other members in the group here. We kind of went through the script. I was kind of curious, are we kind of prefacing this as it is a role play? So when we send this to potential prospects, they understand that this is a role play, or should we have the call to where it looks like it's a real sales call? And,
treat it like they're actual sales calls, right? And treat it like an actual sales call. And when you actually get 10 of them, when a lot of my first cohort last year, when they sent it out, when they didn't have experience, I just told them just to title it example sales calls, or sales calls, parentheses 10, or the amount, and just the links, the Loom links. If they ask, you could tell them the role plays. They never ask. I wouldn't call this lying about your resume, because you know you can do it. By the time you have 10 Michelin role plays, you will be ready. And with this framework, you will sell better than a lot of people that already have positions, right? Because I've sales managed and spoke at like sales conferences, and these people, like, they're like, whoa, like what you said just completely changed what we thought about XYZ. Oh, like we implemented this one, like we built a rapport and then added the set, closing percent went up 10-20%. But that's what you need to make sure, like, you have every piece. Because especially in a 1 hour call, you could really fuck up the sale saying one sentence that's kind of odd, right? You say like 20-30 things that are kind of odd, like it's over. It's wraps. It's wraps.
Perfect. Just one last question from me, and then I might get going. But I was just wondering, do you have any books that you recommend? I saw your library. I see it back there. You got a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to add reading into my daily routine, just 30 minutes every day. So I just want to ask you for a couple references that aren't like mainstream. No Atomic Habits, please.
Besides the Bible, let me show you something. I'm gonna upload this into the school, but it's a PDF of Stratton Oakmont, that packet you get when you arrived at Stratton Oakmont, Jordan Belfort's company. It's crazy. You can see his script, like his qualifying calls, qualifying question, rebuttals. Look, it's like, where is this? Persistence, nothing the world can think. Always be closing. Get that lead. That's what people saw every day in the front packet. And then there's like, you can literally see how he trained his guys. Like if you saw the movie, they'd be like, oh, it's, I am senior sales director of blah, blah, blah. Like this was what they were saying. This was the exact script that they gave them. And that company went from 0 to like what? Hundreds of billions in like a couple years. So I'm pretty sure they know what they're talking about in terms of sales, even though he might be sleazy. So this is something that you might want to read. I'd say another powerful book is Influence by Robert Cialdini. That one's popular. Besides that, like, there's honestly no need to. I'll be honest with you guys, because you guys are already in the sales mafia. Sales content is kind of BS. Like, unless it's like, oh, I'm releasing a full call, watch it. That's valid, because like people get insights. But all these like trainers who are making all these YouTube videos or books, like, it's all derivatives of everything. Like, there's so many different sales styles that you can't just be trying to listen to everybody. Like, you need to stick with one framework and just go for it. Like, for me, the sales framework that's in Sales Mafia is built off the straight line method, what Jordan Belfort does, where it's like, hey, when we actually have this number, when we do the price drop, every objection is dealt with. That's what I built mine on, but kind of changed a few things to make it for high ticket sales. So I wouldn't say there's like too many books. Just if you memorize that sales framework, you'll probably make a shit ton of money. Last year I was running exactly this, but I called it HTS Masterclass, High Ticket Sales Masterclass. It was $3,000 to join, and it was that free course you got, plus just me hopping on calls 3 times a week. And like, I think around 85% of those guys are making over $15,000 a month now. I'm still in contact with them. If you go on Instagram and you click members, those were my guys from last year. So they didn't read shit, didn't buy any Jeremy Lee Mastermind, any Andy Elliott, blah, blah, blah. They just memorized the framework, found a position, started closing. It's not hard. Promise.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Real XP.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man. Sorry, I'm about to just hop out of here, but yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to do role plays, just message me on school. All right, take care.
Fire. Any last questions before I hop off?
No, appreciate you putting the effort in to make the course, man. I know it takes time to do that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
I'm going to make a version 2 of it. It's going to be crazy. So look out for that.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Yeah. See you, Benjamin. I'm about to hop off as well. So it was good to see you, Quentin. I remember hitting you up. Dante, I know you just joined. Samuel, you're on the leaderboard. Ansel, you're on the leaderboard as well. Franco, Leo, Thomas, I know you guys recently joined as well. It's good to see you guys in here. And yeah, let's continue killing it. Like, make sure to engage in the community, ask questions about sales, post about role plays. There's going to be about 300 people that join every week. I'm literally burning ad money to get people inside to this free thing right now. So I'm trying to build this community up, and happy to see you guys in here sometime next week as well when we get more trainings in. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Got you guys.
Man, I appreciate you.
Got you.
I really respect the work you do, man. I really do.
I really appreciate it. This is all new territory to me. I've been closing for been behind the scenes for so long, and now I want to create my own thing. So it's super cool to see some support.
I just really want to add 30 seconds. Before this, I had Sneeko call me for his sales course, and he was charging $6,000. And I was about to buy it because I really want to get in sales before I saw your course. And I figured out his thing was loads of bullshit. It was a complete scam. So
dude, my free shit's better than other people's paid shit.
Yeah.
So
you made it.
So when my paid shit comes out, I know that people. I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm working on this, but my inner circle is I'll guarantee people a sales placement. They have one-on-one access to me. And also there's a Miami mastermind I'm running where I got friends, I got a yacht, do conference, train you guys in real life, eat some ribeyes, smoke some cigars, hit blah, blah, blah. So it's like a real mafia shit.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. But cool. Thanks for the introduction as well, Leo. Nice to meet you. Okay. I will hop off. I got a sales call right now. But yeah. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it.
Peace. Have a wonderful day.
To the moon!